to him. But it's but go ahead, Michael. Talk to the brother.
Okay. Well, Dr. Williams, I understand that you're an elder brother, and I respect that, man. If I cut you off, I apologize to you. I didn't curse or anything. I would never do that to you. I've talked to Professor Small before. I wouldn't get on that level with you guys like that. But you asked me a question, and so I would like to answer the question fully before I was cut off. That's what I was saying. That's all I was saying.
Ask you the question over again. You can go with your answer. When was the first Bible ever printed on planet Earth? Where and what country was it printed in, and what city?
Okay. That would be Alexandria. That's North Africa, under the reign of the Ptolemaic kings. Okay.
What year?
That would be the earlier part of the 3rd century BCE, and that would only include the first 5 books of the Pentateuch. The rest of the remaining part will be an ongoing work.
Okay, now you saying in the what century?
3rd to 4th century. I would say the earlier part of the 3rd century BCE is when
give me a date in that 3rd century.
Well, I can't give you an exact date. I'm not gonna lie, because I can't cross-reference any other information to bring you to a month and a day, but I can give you a year reference.
Okay,
as far as
what year?
That's what I just said. The 3rd century BCE. The earlier part of it would include about the first 100 years.
Okay, 100 years doesn't say. But let me ask you this, Brother Michael, is this. You said in the 3rd century, which is the 200s BC. Is that what you're saying?
Well, around 200 BCE to 275.
Okay, all right. Now, first place, and this Bible was a literature for what religion?
Say it again, sir. I'm sorry, just a little bit
unclear. The Bible that you speak of that was created in the 3rd century. What religion was it created for?
Well, indeed, it was not created for a religion. Actually, the inception of the Septuagint, the LXX, the first 5 books, was at the behest of a king, requesting, copies of ancient records for people that were in his kingdom, that were Israelites, that spoke Hellenistic Greek language. So it wasn't for a specific religion. It was a state document originally.
So therefore, you're speaking about the LXX, which is a Septuagint.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're talking about the so-called Jews being in bondage under the Ptolemy.
Well, no, not them being in bondage. At the time of the Ptolemaic lineage, the kingdom which the Septuagint is produced under, they weren't under bondage. They were living there just as we're living in a dispersion in America. There were many Israelites and those tribes that are associated with the Israelites living in North Africa.
Okay, now, what religion did they practice?
To my understanding, as far as what the texts say, there is no religion. As far as what the Chumash and the Pentateuch put forth, there is no religion of the ancient Israelites. It's not a religion. It is a blood lineage covenant, and it is a family system.
Okay. Now, were they Hellenized in Egypt?
Say it again, sir.
Were they Hellenized in Egypt?
Colonized. Is that what you said?
Hellenized.
Colonized?
Hellenized in Egypt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, they were. Yes, sir. That's why this particular set of documents called the Septuagint was made for those that were Hellenized in Egypt. Yes, sir.
Okay, and who was the Ptolemy at that time?
Clarify.
Who was the Ptolemy at that time that these Israelites were Hellenized in Egypt? Who was the Ptolemy?
Do you want me to give you his name? Because as relates to history, they only give Ptolemy and then which particular dynasty or which particular one he was. You understand?
Okay, what dynasty are you talking about?
If you're talking about Philadelphus, Ptolemy at Philadelphus, that would be the one that I'm speaking under the with things that are associated with this Demetrius Phalaris. Have you ever heard those names?
Demetrius who?
Phalaris. Phalereus.
What date do you give for him?
This would be around the same date that I'm giving for the Ptolemaic, 285 BC.
285 BC? No, that.
Not for Ptolemy. I'm talking about the book itself, sir. The book itself and the purpose for what it was written for. 285 B. Say again?
What was the purpose?
The purpose was to have, number one, a state document at the behest of King Ptolemy, Philadelphus, a document that documents his inhabitants of his kingdom, which were Jews, but Hellenized, and even a document that would be written in a language that he used and they could use, because they didn't understand the language anymore, just like we do in America. We are Americanized just as they were Hellenized.
Okay, let me go ask you this question. Have you ever heard of the pseudepigrapha letter of Orestes?
Absolutely.
Okay, what does that say and what does it mean? What does it tell you?
The letter of Aristeas is a request. Say it again, sir.
The pseudepigrapha letter of Orestes.
It is deemed.
What pseudepigrapha mean?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. A document that is said to be written for someone, to someone, but literally is written by another person. A false document. That's what
pseudepigrapha means.
It means a false document.
That's correct. Now, I hear what you're saying, and let me interject this. It says that during the time of Ptolemy II Philadelphus, Ptolemy II Philadelphus is supposed to be the son of Ptolemy I Lagi, called Soter. Ptolemy I Lagi, called Soter, which means S-O-T-E-R, means Savior. He has the image that is today known as Jesus the Christ. He was first given the name of Serapis, so he became Serapis by a priest and priestess society in Memphis, Egypt, who took two of their deities, Osiris and Apis, the Greek representatives of Ra, and came out with the name Serapis and gave that to this Ptolemy. And there's history attached to it. But now, let's get back. Ptolemy II Philadelphus is supposed to be the son of Ptolemy I Lagi. Now, it is said, tradition is saying this, that during the time of Ptolemy II Philadelphus, the Jews living in Egypt were Hellenized. Okay? That they couldn't read or write Hebrew. That the Ptolemy sent to Israel for 70 or 72 Jewish scholars to come to Egypt. And once arriving at Egypt, they were given Bibles. Each one of them were given Bibles that were written in Hebrew. Okay? And that they was put into separate rooms. And they were supposed to translate from the Hebrew into the Greek. So these Jews who had been Hellenized in Egypt would have literature that they could read. Okay? So now, this was supposed to have been done. And once that was completed, they all came out of the room and put their Bibles on the table. And that was considered to be the Greek Septuagint, signified by LXX, okay, which means 70 or 72, okay. Historically, all that never happened. Historically. Because, why? Because the only place that you find Jews, Canaanites, and Israelites is in between the pages of the Bible. And the only place that you have Jews, and the reason why you have Jews is because of one Abraham. Abraham is the grandfather of Jacob, whose name had been changed to Israel, and he had 12 offspring. And so Abraham became the great-great-grandfather of his offspring. But the Jews today are saying that there is no or ever been an Abraham. I refer you or anybody to get the book called The Original Torah by S. David Sperling. S. David Sperling is a rabbi who teaches at the Hebrew Union College in New York City. In his book, The Original Torah, he says, there's never been an Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Sarah, Gideon, Esau, David, or Joshua. And Walter Williams said, don't stop there. That 99.9% of every biblical character written in the Bible never walked the earth as human beings.
Okay, can I interject now, Doctor? Can I interject?
Okay, wait now, just a moment.
Okay.
Further down in this book, he said that I am compelled to read the Torah allegorically because it cannot be read historically. So go ahead.
Okay. Let me go from the back to the front. Much of what you said, I agree with. Much of what you said. Allegorically.
What does that you agree with?
I'm going to tell you. Allegorically, I agree with the last statement that much of the Bible is written based upon Aramaic idiom and gematria, which is a numerical study. Okay. So that relates that the Bible itself is written on 3 different levels: the textual level, the numerical level, and the idiomatic level that relates to the Aramaic language. Now let's go back.
Aramaic language brings you back to Hebrews.
Let me address the question. Let me address the thing first, and then I'll get to that. Okay. Okay. Now, as you were talking about the Septuagint, I want you to notice that the thing that you did was you jumped over your proof that the Septuagint is not valid as far as its veracity relating to Ptolemy Philadelphus. You simply said it didn't happen, but the documentation of the Septuagint comes out of the corpus of Kemet. It is a king ruler that created the need for this book. Now, also, the 70 plus scholars were not Egyptian, but these were requested Israel. No, let me finish what I'm saying, sir. These 70 scholars that did the translation were requested from the land of Israel. So these people were not Egyptians that were doing the translations.
I didn't say they were.
No, I'm just.
I said they were.
No, I didn't say that you said they were. I said that you said that the people that did the translation came from Ptolemy. That's not correct.
I didn't say that.
Okay, if you say you didn't say that, okay.
Invited the Israelites, the Jews from Israel, to come into Egypt to translate the Hebrew Bible into Greek.
That's right. I agree with that. Now we are in agreement. Now let me make a statement here real quick. Now again, being that I said that your attack on the validity of the Septuagint has no agreement in the sense that there is no other scholar that points at anything based upon the Ptolemaic dynasty. All you said was the letter of Aristeas. Now, you pointed the letter of Aristeas out as pseudo-figure. Yes, brother. Hold on one second, please, doctor. Just let me finish my statement. I'm going to address everything you asked me. But you addressed the letter of Aristeas. The letter of Aristeas only deals with the request that this book be made. But the book itself, the veracity of the documentation in the book proves that the book is valid. Number one, it documents the first really conquering of Egypt by Alexander the Great. That's in the book of Maccabees. It also documents the capture of Judea, which is documented by a coin called Iudea Copta. It's on the front of Josephus's book. So what I'm saying to you, doctor, is that, let me finish, I'm gonna wrap it up and then let you go ahead with it. What I'm saying to you is that the veracity of the Septuagint is backed up by history that can be proven. That can be proven with coins. That can be proven with inscriptions, and can be proven with the life of Ptolemaeus Philadelphus, sir.
Okay, now you're through.
No, I'm through for that run of statements. Yes, sir.
Hold it, Michael. The first place I told you, in order to have some Jews or Israelites, you have to have an Abraham. You have to have an Abraham. Without Abraham, Abraham is the name that keeps all three major Western religions together: Christianity, Islam, and Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
The Jews, Michael, today, and Western academia today, as I speak, is telling you and the world that there's never been an Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Sarah, Gideon, Esau, David, Joshua. Shlomo Sand, you ever read his book called The Invention of the Jewish People?
You asked me, have I read that book? No, I haven't, sir. But I can prove to you. I can prove to you something. But I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Have you read that book?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
I said, yes. Have you read the original Torah?
Absolutely. I'm a Hebrew reader, sir. I read the
original Torah by S. David Sperling.
The copy of the Torah that I read is the Stone Edition Chumash that comes from the.
David Sperling is a book called the original Torah.
I'm thinking you're asking me which form of Torah do I read. No, sir, I haven't read that book.
I didn't ask you that, Michael.
No, I'm sorry. We're on the phone. I couldn't hear you clearly, sir. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you.
You hear me clearly now?
Yes, I've said it. I haven't read that book yet.
You haven't read the original Torah, right?
That particular book that you're referencing, no. I'm trying to
read The Invention of the Jewish People, right?
No. If these are books that are written by authors, sir, no, I haven't. But I'm a Hebrew reader, and I read the book in its original language.
Okay,
that's what.
Please, Michael.
You said the original Torah, sir.
Michael, please. You go and read these two books, okay? And then you come back next time I'm on the air and tell me that you read these two books. Here's these Jews are telling you, Shlomo Sand in his book, The Invention of the Jewish People. They are invented.
Okay. Can I interject really quickly, sir?
Michael, wait. We're going to end this. Michael, you are a believer. And
no.
I'm a historian.
I'm gonna tell you. Let me give you something before you go. I'm gonna let you finish.
Michael,
go ahead.
Michael.
Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Never ever meet. You believe, and I'm using the discipline of history. I'm giving you references. I'm telling you year, dates, and time and places. Michael, there are 5 things that you must know about the discipline of history. The discipline of history contains 5 ingredients: time, people, places, events, and literature. Literature is used to write time, people, places, and events. So
beautiful. That's right.
Now, what you do now, Michael, I cannot continue a conversation with you because you believe this stuff. Okay?
I believe in anything I said had to do with faith, sir. Did anything I say had to do with faith?
Michael, I can come there and bring you all kinds of rabbis in front of your face in the same room, and they'll tell you that there's never been a Canaanite or Israelite or Jew. The only place that you find Canaanites and Jews is in between the pages of biblical literature in the narrative story. And
okay, can I interject right quick, sir? Can I interject, please?
End this conversation so we can move on.
All right, let me say one last statement before you go, Doctor. I appreciate your time, but I want you to look up this before you lay it down tonight. It's called the Shalom inscription. This proves the existence of King Hezekiah. That inscription predates any text that even predates this Septuagint that we're talking about. It's the Shalom inscription. And last thing, that the Jewish people. The Jewish people, they will always deny the validity of this book, because if you take it literally, it leads you to believe that these are black people, Africans, the Hebrews. They're not honkies. They're not white people, brother. They're not white people.
I said there are no non-humans. That means there's no color, no race.
I can prove it to you when you get more time, sir. When you get more time, I can prove it to you.
Think about the Shalom inscription. Let me say this, Brother Sinetta. Salome inscription. Who validated the Salome inscription for Western academia? Who did that?
The people that wrote on the Shalom inscription, the Shalom inscription has been dated, sir. It's been dated.
For them.
Oh, sir, are you listening to me, Dr. Williams?
And I'm asking you a question, but you're not giving me the answer. Who
I'm
dated
trying to say.
the Paul Salome inscription for Western academia? That's the question. It's valid, very valid.
Brother, my referencing it is not out of Western academia, because Western academia has not talked about that in any of its books. My knowledge of the Salome inscription, sir, hold on one second, please. My knowledge of that inscription has to do with years of research, of primary research and information. And that is itself, it is a proof that this kingdom was built. It's a waterway, sir. It's a waterway.
Listen, do me a favor. Will you do me a favor?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because I respect you, man. I respect you, man.
Listen, I respect you too.
Yes, sir.
Anytime that I'm on this program, listen, please don't call me. You go and get you some black Hebrew Israelites. You all can talk all that stuff together.
Sinetta called me, sir. He called me. But I'm telling you, man, one day